Hey guys, Jonathan back here, and today we've got a hip mobility routine that's going to work on not only the flexibility but also the strength in the hips, and it's going to help you relieve any of that tightness, that stiffness in the hips or in the lower back area. There's a lot of movements coming your way. Get ready, buckle up. There are some that are a bit easier and some that are a bit harder, but we're going to start off in this 90-90 position. Also, if you guys see, the layout's going to change a little bit. I am actually going to be watching myself doing the class that I had scheduled for you guys, and I'm going to commentate and guide you guys through it. Put on whatever music that you want to have in the background and enjoy it. So without further ado, if you guys can, please smash that like button and I will get started. So the first thing that we do in this 90-90 position, right, a lot of times people just kind of sweep back and forth. There's nothing wrong with this to get the hips warmed up, but we're trying to get into our end range. So we're trying to go as far as we possibly can and really start to get some work done in the hips. So our starting position, let's all start on the left side. So with your left leg forward, right leg as your back leg. Place your hands behind your bum. The closer towards your bum, the harder this is going to be, so you can place them further away from yourself if it makes it easier. And I want you guys to try to turn your chest as far towards that right knee as possible until you feel a stretch inside of that right hip, right? You'll feel that right deep inside of that right hip. And once you got it, just hold, work on your breathing. We're going for 5 deep breaths. After those 5 deep breaths, what you're going to do is actively press your left leg into the ground, pivot on your right heel, and try to lift that right knee up as high as you can off the ground without the left knee lifting off. That's going to be the tricky part. This is where we start to get the strength in at the hips. And at this position, once you max out, you can't go any further. You can start to let the left leg come off a little bit, and you'll rock the weight towards the center of your body. From there, you're going to let the right knee win the fight. It's going to come down all the way to the ground, and once it does, you can actively turn and press that left knee down towards the inside, and now you've gone to your other side, 90-90. And same idea, you're just going to hold this stretch, make sure that your chest hasn't shifted over towards the right knee. You still want to keep it right down the center along the left knee now, and just work on those 5 deep breaths. So same thing, letting that stretch sink in right in the hip joint. Alright, so same thing, once you've sunken in, we're going to reactivate again, so press into the ground with your right leg, start to pivot on your left heel, lift that knee up towards the ceiling, bring it as far and as wide apart as possible. You might feel a little bit of difference between the two sides, take a quick note of that, and again, shift the weight to the center once you're able to, continue to spread the knees apart, and then start to let that left leg win out on the fight again, and once it does, once it's back onto the ground, then you can start to press that right knee down towards the center. Nice. And that does it for our first little bit of our 90-90 work. Our next movement, we're going to work on a little bit of our hip flexion and extension. So from here, you're going to feel a nice stretch in through your glutes as well. So we have to stretch out the butt a little bit. The key part is to sit up as tall as you possibly can and push your butt back, right? So push your tailbone back, push your butt back as you hinge over, aiming your chest to come towards your left knee. The more you can sit the butt back, so your butt cheek back, the more of a stretch you're gonna get in your glutes. Once you've found your stretch that's comfortable, not too strong, you're just gonna hold it there, go for those 3 deep breaths. And once we finish those deep breaths, we're gonna get some strengthening work in. Okay, here's our first little bit of strength. You're going to actively press the left ankle and your left knee down towards the ground. So actively press it down, right? You're going to feel like you want to sit up, but you want to try to resist it. And then once you finish that pressing, you're going to actively try to lift your foot off the ground. So try to lift your foot off the ground. You see here, I'm pressing down with my hands on both my foot and my knee, but I'm trying to lift it up. After that one, same thing. Continue working on your breathing as you try to press the knee and the ankle back down towards the ground. Max that out, and same thing, we're going to lift it back up again for round number 2. Lift, 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 lift. Keep working on your breathing. Inhale, exhale, just nice and normal. You're going to feel that heat start to build up in the hips. And again, we press back down as strong as you possibly can for your third press. And once you finish off that third press, continue to press into the ground with your legs and sit up nice and tall. Nice. That is it for that one side. Let's do the same transition. So we're just going to transition back over towards the right side. And if you can, try it like how I'm doing it here. No hands. So we're just going full activation into the body. Continue the spread all the way through. Again, right knee comes down first. Once it's down, then you can start to bring that left side down in rotation. Nice. All right, let's do the same thing. Rinse and repeat on the right side. So you see here, I'm sitting tall, pushing my butt back, lifting my spine, and you can see how straight my back is. I'm just hinging at the hips here, right? If you start to round at your lower back, right? If you see and you feel your back rounding, then you won't really get that stretch in through your glutes. You're just gonna feel your back being stretched a little bit. So keep it straight, push the hips back, hold this position, work on 5 deep breaths. Alright, so same thing, after your 5 deep breaths, you guys know what to do now. You're pressing the right heel, the right ankle, and the right knee down towards the ground as you try to hold your upper body where it is. So you're fighting it, resisting it, that's going to get your glutes to fire, and then now start to lift. Try to lift your foot off the ground. You can apply pressure downwards with your knee, but try to lift that foot off of the ground as much as possible. Max that out, and then start to press back down again for round number 2. Again, you see I'm starting to really tighten up everything else in my body, pressing into the floor strong, and lift up for round number 2. Big lift, keep working on your breath. Nice, and our final piece, press back into the floor, tighten up the abs, we're gonna get ready to sit up. Just keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing the leg into the ground, sit up tall, stay tall through your chest. Nice, and that is it for that strength bit. Good stuff, you guys. Alright, we're gonna have to open up again and come back over towards the left side, just to balance things out. So again, keep the right leg down, open up the left side. Again, we're just pivoting on the heel here. Keep working on your breathing all the way through. Once you're in the middle, again, let that left side win out on this fight. You're still trying to spread the knees as far as possible. Good stuff. And then we're just going to rotate down, pressing that knee towards the inside. Nice. Let the hips just kind of sink away. That was probably a lot of work and a lot of different work for a lot of you guys. So take the time, work on your breathing, grab a sip of water if you need, and then join me in this up dog position. So you just keep the legs straight, push your chest up towards the ceiling, and then we can rock it back into a child's pose, just sitting on your heels at this point. Alright, our next piece we're going to work on a little bit of our hip ups, just to get the glutes to activate a little bit more as well. So work on your breathing, keep sitting on your heels if possible, and you'll see our next movement, right? All we're doing, trying to sit up, drive the hips forward, and really get that pelvis to tilt, right? You're trying to tuck the tailbone down and under, clenching your butt cheeks so that you're getting the glutes to work a little bit harder. Nice, the glutes are one of the biggest and most powerful muscles in your body, and to really combat a lot of the sitting that you're doing, you want to work on the glutes, right? There's nothing else to it. There's nothing else that I can say. Just work on the glute strength. Add that cushion for your tush. And then once we finish with that piece, we're going to come into our squats. So you're going to bring one leg up, right? The right leg went up first on that one, so if the right leg is going to go up, we're also going to come back down with the right leg first. So we're just transitioning from this kneeling position, right, into a squat, into our deep squat position. We're going to do the same thing with the left side now. So left leg is going to come up first, tilt the hips back, load it, perfect. You get the right leg up, and then same thing, left leg goes back, right leg goes back, rock the hips back into that kneeling position. Perfect. All right, let's speed it up a little bit. So from here, clench, boom, right side, left side, right back down, and left up, right up, left down, right, left, right and left. And at this point, you guys should start to feel your quads start to burn a little bit, which is nice. There's the strength aspect of things coming in. And if you can't do this movement, don't worry. You guys can start off these movements a little bit higher up, right? If you need to even hold on to the wall or hold on to something on the side to help yourselves get up, there's no issues with that. All right, this next piece, really, really important. Instead of sitting and keeping your feet flat, try to plant your toes and then sit back onto your heels, right? This is going to stretch out the bottoms of your feet. And a lot of people, if they are feeling any type of stiffness, even in the lower back, sometimes it's just the stiffness in the bottom of the foot that's causing it. So doing this type of stretch is actually really nice. Once you finish off there, you can rock back and rock forward from your deep squat position into this kneeling position, right? Just keep rocking back and forth, seeing how things feel. Again, if it's a little challenging for you, you can always pop the hips up a little bit higher. But if you can, drop down into that deep squat. And in these deep relaxing squats, don't worry about your back rounding. It's perfectly normal, right? There's no load, no issues. From here, we're going into a favorite of mine from Animal Flow. We're working on the ape sit to ape reach. So all we're doing from this deep squat position, the ape sit, we rock the weight forward onto the balls of the feet and the toes. As you do that, you spread your knees apart, so externally rotating the hips, externally rotating at the shoulders, right, and coming into this nice tall position, and then rocking back, collapsing everything in. A really nice one to do every day. I like to do this at least 10 times a day, whether it's breaking it up into 1 rep every couple hours or doing all 10 at one sitting. It's just a really nice one to do. Alright, once you finish that off, pop the hips up. Try your best to straighten out your knees. Reach the hands, drop it back down to the deep squat. Again, keep your hands on the ground as you try to straighten out the legs. If you can only touch your toes with your fingers, that's okay. I'm trying to do it with my fists here, just to get a nice stretch through the hamstrings. But just coming through this position, right, you really stretch out and work on the quads, so you'll feel that quad burn. All right, last couple movements. From our squat position, you'll see I just spread out my legs a little bit to make this movement a bit easier. So as I spread my legs in this squat, I'm trying to straighten out my back and then relax it again. Right, so I'm just actively pulling my back and my spine into extension. I flip my palms up towards the ceiling. It makes the movement a little bit easier. And then I can start to relax my whole back, allow everything to sink in. And that is pretty much it for my hip mobility routine. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, please smash that like button, subscribe if you really enjoyed it, and comment below on which movement was your favorite movement. All right, until next time, peace.